My name's Greg Alexander. I'm here at the Riverside Tennis Courts. And every Sunday at 1 o'clock, they do a homeless feeding. So every week I come here and I kind of pass out different things like food or candy or Nutri-Grain bars and just kind of talk to people and find out what their challenges are and what it's like living in Wichita homeless. So this last week, as you can see, it's pretty cold out here. So there wasn't a lot of people there. So just kind of talk to people a little bit about kind of what's it like living outside when it's this cold out. What do you do to keep warm? A lot of them will burn hand sanitizer. Another common thing that I've seen a couple times is they'll get a fire and then they put the rock inside the fire and they heat the rock up and then they put it in their tent and then the rock radiates heat. There are some that have some pretty elaborate things. They've had like propanes, and these are the people that all have tents and stuff, but not everybody has tents. So there was one guy that I talked to and I was like, so where's your spot? Because some are in different things. They're up kind of over near the river, or they're downtown, or depends on where their tent is, and he didn't have a tent. I was like, so what do you do to keep warm? He's like, well, you sleep as much as you can at night, and then at a certain point, it's just so cold, you just gotta get up. And that's what he does. He gets up at like 2, 3 in the morning in that bitter cold in the morning, and he just walks. And they just walk for hours and hours, just walking just to keep warm as much as they can. And eventually, when it warms up during the day, they'll take a nap. And it's also for them that are actually laying in the street, they don't have like a tent, it's actually safer for them to almost kind of travel at night in the early morning and stuff, because a lot of times people will come and steal their stuff. So I asked him, I was like, do you go to the shelters? And he's like, only when it gets really cold, I go to the shelters. And I was like, well, why don't you go on a normal basis? Like he's just like, well, this time around, it's kind of far being up there on 21st. And sometimes, like for him, he had another guy that he kind of hung around with, so they kind of keep with each other and kind of watch each other's stuff. He's just like, I just want to be with people I'm comfortable with. And going into a shelter with all these other people and them not knowing them and them maybe not being quite trustworthy as the person he's with, he'd just rather stay outside in the cold. And that's kind of the stuff that I focus on in the videos that you'll see here on YouTube and Facebook and all the different social media platforms I'm connected to. That kind of the stories of the Wichita homeless and what they go through every single week. And we think as individuals that it's easy. It's just like, go get a job. And once you listen to these people and talk to them and hear their stories, you realize how much of a challenge they have every single week to try to get food, get shelter, and try not to get things stolen from other people, and it's just quite a lot they have to deal with every single week. And sometimes finding that job might be the last thing on their list. So stay tuned. I'll have a Sunday update like this every single week after I do the feeding, different things that we talk about. And then on Wednesday, I have a video of a particular person that I interviewed. So like and subscribe, and kind of gives you a good idea, kind of brings you back to center on the wonderful things that God has provided us and the things that other people go through that sometimes we just see on the side of the road holding a sign. So thank you so much. Great, and we'll see you on Wednesday for the story.